Are there a lot of TV detector vans in this area tonight? New, more powerful vans. If you don't have a license, they'll know just where to look for you. And when you're caught, you can now be fined up to £400. The new TV detector vans, they're in this area now.
With our new handheld TV detectors, everyone without a TV license is within our reach. This helps us catch over 1,000 people a day.
So those were some adverts where they told us the kind of technology that they had available to them. And here's the thing, I don't necessarily believe that they have the technology they claim to have. And I notice in alternative media there are massive grand claims that these people in positions of power have all this technology to their fingertips. And you know, we've got these bionic eyes which provide sight to the blind, but then the manufacturers go bust, so they can't make them anymore or something like that, and it's all too convenient as well. But let's imagine that this is the case, because I want to talk about the ANPRs which recognise apparently our number plates, and they ensure apparently that they can trace anyone who's uninsured as a driver. And that's what the claim is, and I want you to keep in mind the television licenses adverts while we talk about this, because I definitely see when I go to the shops, I definitely see if I go to self-service tills that my image comes up, and I have seen how smartphones are really clever. Then there's people who believe that we've gone to the moon, and there's those who don't. There's those who believe that there are nuclear bombs in existence, and then there's those who don't. And then there's already the bionic eye has already been created and apparently works, but the companies go bust. So how are they going bust, but Elon Musk isn't? Do you really think that these people are spending money investing into our futures, or do you think that they are spending money on their lifestyles, on drugs, prostitutes, alcohol, parties, mansions, the high life? Because they cost money too, and that does have to come to an end at some point. They've probably spent your pensions, our pensions. They're probably resentful to anyone who's on benefits. They probably hate those people because they, taking crumbs from the big fat wallet. Anyway, these people, they don't spend, these members of parliament, they don't spend like they are concerned about the society in which they live. They're all from millionaire backgrounds. Well, how come? Because they've been, racketeering for these corporations, for their little gangs. And how have they been racketeering? Well, they've been telling lies. And then there's people who are saying on alternative media, oh, well, there's nanobots in the vaccines and everything. And those people were saying, at the same time, they were saying, well, you shouldn't just believe this image of a coronavirus. I mean, who would do that? It's a CGI image. And yet they want you to believe these images of what they are saying are nanobots. They have no idea what is in there. And they could tell us anything. And this is why I believe that we are in Revelation 20, Satan's season. I don't think he's got any weapons. And I'm going to go through so many movies in the future where they actually tell you this. They tell you that they're going to run out of ammunition. They're going to run out of lies, is what it means. They're not going to be able to continue the lie. I think that they're going to get us onto a digital currency, no problem. There's I do think that there's something bad in the vaccines, and I do think that things are going to, there's poisons or something in there. And there could be nanobots. I believe that as much as I believe that we went to the moon, and as much as I believe in nuclear weapons. So there could be, then that's all I'll leave it as. I think that the money's being spent on themselves, and as inflation hits, they're going to not be able to afford for certain things, their enjoyments either. They need to kill us off because they need the money for themselves. They need that lifestyle to hold on to it as much as they can. They'll need to put us on to digital currency. They have to do that because there's this guy called Mike Malone, goldandsilver.com or something like that he's on. And he talks about how money or currency has a 40-year lifespan and it will last for 40 years. I think by 2026 they will have us on digital currency. Definitely by 2030, but I'm thinking pretty soon. They'll have us on digital currency, and that will have a very tyrannical tone to it, which I think we're all expecting. And then it will have probably less than this debt system has had, probably about 30, maybe 40 years in it. They're going to find it very easy because people watch the TV, they want to impress the people on the TV as if they're actually in their living rooms. They don't think of the TV as a plastic box inside their home. They look at the TV and they think of it as real people who are in their circles who they want to impress. And so when the TV says, well, everything's going, up in the air, we'll have to get onto digital currency and digitalize everything so that, everything's cheaper to run. And that's going to happen. And the majority of people are going to go along with it. I don't think there's any way out of it. I don't expect to see any way out of this kind of thing. It's coming. But 2066, there's also a belief by 2066, the majority of people, or white people, will be a minority. 2066, that's interesting, isn't it? 2066. The reason why it's interesting is because I believe 2066 is going to be a new era. I believe that it will be a new era because I believe that we are in Satan's season in Revelation 20. Satan's season, I believe, will last 1,000 years, and I think it began in 1066 with the Normans. The Normans arrived. A few years later, they invited a monetary group, a small group who is known to be within the monetary system still. And I believe that it's going to change everything. They wanted to change everything. I don't believe that they were allowed within those countries until after 1066. I think that they were cast out of those countries for all of those years. So, white British will be a minority. I have to say, when I look at my family, my close relatives, and the immediate family, they are so pro-immigration. This is what the leaders of the countries want, and I have a view about this. I think they're going to put reparation laws in. I think they're going to succeed in that, and I think there's a reason why. There's a group who class themselves as white in certain circumstances, and then in other circumstances they don't. David Schwimmer's one of them. He classes himself as white privilege, but then so he classes himself as white, but then he also talks about his other sort of ancestral background. And the same with Gwyneth Paltrow. She is very similar in that sense. She's a white woman, and she claims to be a white woman until she claims to be of a different race, basically. I think, this is just my opinion, and it is going into one of my books, the concept. I believe that these white people within this group are then going to turn around to all the so-called international majority people and tell them that they genocided the white Europeans. And then they'll have these reparation laws in place and they're going to enslave them. That's what I believe is going to happen. These people have been brought over here to become slaves. That's what they've been brought here for. And they're going to be enslaved through their own following and demands as they are right now. They're going to insist on reparation laws. The laws are going to be put in place. There's going to be a whole tearful cry from the elites who call themselves white and also call themselves something else. And they're going to cry about it, say, oh no, you killed our brothers and sisters. You genocided them. Oh dear. We're going to need to put the reparation laws in action, aren't we? And you're going to have to pay us back because you killed our family. And I think that's what's going to happen. I do think that that's going to happen. And I think that a lot of people are going to go along with it because they believe in the technology. They believe that these technologies exist. And because of that, they're going to follow. Because they're going to be afraid of being caught because of the existence of these technologies. And I don't doubt for a second that certain tech can listen into your conversations. Of course it can. But I also don't think that they have the technologies. And also, just because they have patents doesn't mean that the patent design exists. And even if it does exist, it doesn't necessarily mean that it works and is operating. So there's just all these different things which we need to think about and be considerate of, rather than just, oh wow, the alternative media says this is real, it must be. Because I think that also they are incredibly questionable. If they are saying this is absolute truth, this is absolutely what's going to happen, or this is absolutely what's happening, we've got nanobots and everything, I think you need to question that. So that's just my opinion. So please like, subscribe, comment and share if you will. Thank you. Bye.